So this video is just a quick revision of derivatives of polynomials. Pretty much all the derivatives you did last year were of polynomials, that is, x's raised to the power of something. I'm just going to jump straight into them. These are things that you should remember from last year. If y equals x cubed, the derivative of that is y dash, we sometimes call it, is equal to, you take that power, bring it out the front, and reduce the power by 1. So if y equals x cubed, y dash will equal 3x squared. Now here's a second one, y equals 4x to the power of 7. That means that y dash, that is the derivative of y, is going to equal 7 times whatever's out the front here, so 7 times 4, which is 28, x to the power of, decrease the power by 1, 6, 28 to the power of 6. So in this question, two concepts you should remember. First of all, f of x equals the square root of x. Now if you want to find the derivative of f of x, we write it as f dash of x. That's the derivative of x. Now the problem here is that there's a square root there. So that's going to be equal to x to the half. Alright, so actually I've just rewritten that, so I should really get rid of that dash. So f of x is equal to the square root of x. It's also equal to x to the half. So square root is the same as x to the half. Now we can write the derivative of that is equal to, we bring the power out the front. So half x, and we decrease the power by 1. So a half minus 1 will be a negative half. Okay, there's more you can do with that, but I'm gonna leave it there, otherwise we're gonna overcomplicate things, and we're gonna move on to another question. Alright, so looking at this question here, f of x is equal to 1 on x to the power of 4. Now we can rewrite that. The problem is we can't solve something where x is on the bottom, so we need to bring it to the top. You should remember that you can bring this to the top by writing it as a negative power, x to the negative 4. Now that we've done that, we can say that the derivative, that is f dash x, is equal to, bring the negative 4 out the front, negative 4, x to the, and now you take the power and decrease it by 1. So negative 4 is going to become negative 5. Now, we really shouldn't finish there. Leaving it as a negative power is not good. If it's a negative power, it means it belongs on the bottom of the fraction. So this is going to be negative 4 over x to the 5. Now that we've talked about that, we can jump back to this question over here. And we can say that f dash x equals 1 over 2. Now that x to the half is going to come down to the bottom. So that's going to be x to the half. So 1 over 2x to the half. If you really want to be pedantic about it, you can write that as 1 over 2 square root x. That's why I wanted to pause before I got into that one. It's just a little more complicated than the rest. Alright, we may as well finish off with something really challenging here. Y equals 3 over the square root of x. First of all, you're going to have to rewrite it so it makes a bit more sense. Square root of x is the same as x to the power of a half. Now, we can't deal with x on the bottom, so we'll rewrite it with x on the top. So it's going to be 3x to the negative 1 half. Sorry, just scroll that back to the screen. Okay. Now we can find the derivative of that. So y dash equals, bring the negative half out the front. That's going to make it negative 3 on 2. And then there's going to be x. Now we have to decrease that power by 1. So negative a half minus 1 is negative 3 on 2. So that's 3 over 2 times x to the negative 3 on 2. Now we need to tidy that up. This means that x is going to come down to the bottom. Negative 3 over 2 x to the 3 on 2. So that's negative 3 over 2x to the 3 on 2. Finally, we'll finish that off, just bring it up here. Y dash equals negative 3 over 2. Now that 2 on the bottom means square root x to the power of 3. Alright, so this has been a revision of derivatives of polynomials. really, if you can get these two done, you're going to be okay. But obviously, you're going to have to know at least most of the rest of this stuff if you're planning to get an A or a B in this kind of stuff.